So I'd now like to introduce you to Loretta. So Loretta Black is from the VCAA, not the VACC, that's totally different, okay? But she's been lovely enough to come down today to speak to us from a VCAA perspective about what is VET and how we can get the most out of it, where it sits with VM and all those sorts of things. So thank you very much for your time and coming down, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew, for inviting me, and thank you for your time today. My name's Loretta Black and I'm the Acting Manager of the VET unit at the VCAA. I should start by saying that I'm the Acting Manager because many of you might be familiar with, Daryl Sutton, announced his retirement in May for next year and he's on extended sick leave. So he wanted to extend a thank you to everyone for over the years and to let everyone know there will be a farewell next year, so look out for the invitation. And so the role's currently being advertised and filled. So in the meantime, we've got me. I would like to echo the acknowledgement of country that Andrew delivered at the beginning of today and extend my respects as well. So I've got a lot to cover because I was told by Andrew and Alison we need to start from the start. So please forgive me if you know some of this. I hope that everyone will bring something back that they may not have known or confirming something they might have not been clear on. So the role of the VCAA, we are the Victorian Curriculum and Assessment Authority, and we're a statutory authority whose mission is to provide high quality curriculum and assessment and reporting to enable learning for life. Oh, so I don't know what happened with that slide there, but we do cover all stages. So let's flip through that one. Oh, got a bit of an alignment problem when it was lined up. I'll make sure that the slides don't have that. The QR codes are so that you'll be able to easily contact or identify our information when you get the slides. But students can do nationally recognised vocational education and training VET as a VCAA approved VCE VET program, an apprenticeship, a traineeship or any other VET qualification and receive credit towards their VCE, VCE VM or their VPC certificates. The mission of the VCAA VET unit is to ensure that the vocational education and training undertaken by the senior secondary students is appropriate and of the highest possible quality, which I'm sure that you all support that as well. The VET unit oversees the packaging of training products for VET delivered to secondary students, VCE credit rules, scored assessments and runs annual programs of professional learning. The programs being reviewed this year are the electrical industry program and the hair and beauty, which we've just been told by the JSC is on hold because there's a lot more work and that will actually continue into next year. So the electrical industry one is the one to look out for changes, and we'll announce those, of course, at our statewide briefings, which are held at the end of every year. So what are our certificate types or our program types? There are three types of programs for VET. There's the VE1, which is a VCE VET program. There are 28 programs, 14 with scored assessment, and a minimum of one qualification in each program or the unit's 3-4 sequence, and some offer some or both. You'll be familiar with those. So in your back, this, as I wave it around, yeah. I also have big glossy ones in that pink suitcase. So if you'd like to take some home, come and see me at the end and put them on the wall. I do need to let you know there's one typo in this lovely poster that we didn't pick up at the end of last year. So I'll mention it now. That's why I thought I'd do it now. And that is under the lab skills section. The certificate 2 is a 1-2 credit and the certificate 3 is the 3-4 scored program, not the reverse, which is on the poster. So grab your pen, cross out the Cert 2, 3, 4 and tick it into the Cert 3, and we apologise for that. We thought we'd stop that before it went to the printers. But those are the programs that are available with score and the 28 programs and the 55 certificates within them. VE2 are the apprenticeships or traineeships, and any apprenticeship or traineeship with a training scheme approved by the VRQA for delivery to secondary students. So that is what our VE2 programs are about. And our VE3 programs are called Other Vet, which is any other nationally recognised vet qualification not included in the suite of VCE vet programs, which are on here, or an SBAT traineeship program. Noting that the credit towards VCE only accrues for Certificate 2 or above qualifications through block credit. So what is block credit and how do we get our credit through our VE3 other vet programs? That is our block credit poster there. So VCE credit received for non-VCE vet programs, so the ones not on our lovely poster, are decided by the level of certificate and nominal hours of training completed. So adhere to the packaging rules and award the VCE credit based on the block credit rules, which are there. So you have your 90 hours there, and you have one credit, 180 hours, 270, 360 is the standard, and it can add extra credit as well. There's Certificate 2, Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 and above. So hopefully that's very straightforward for the block credit rules, but please don't hesitate to reach out if you need some advice regarding that. So for our school-based apprenticeships and traineeships, the VCAA keeps track of SBATs in senior secondary, which are classified as VE2 type ONVAS. And these generally follow the block credit rules of VCE vet credit, but there are some exceptions because some Cert 2 SBATs provide a 3-4 credit. And the best way, it's a rule of thumb and it's not perfect because you can always ask us for exact information. But if it appears on here, then, and it's a Cert 2 with a 3-4 credit, it should also apply to SBAT. As I said, bit of a rule of thumb, but it's a good way to check, and then just give us a call. All my details are on the slides for my team as well as myself. There are other rules for SBATs, of course. A signed contract is required between schools, student, employer and RTO, and the student must be released from school for training to attend work. Now, remember, those contracts must be submitted to us at the VCAA for approval and lodgement, and please make sure all 4 certificates are on before you send them. Otherwise, my colleague Laura will send them back to you again and again and again until there's 4. She's fabulous at her job, but she probably drives some people, what? I've missed another signature, but she's pretty good at it. And then there's the VCE vet programs, which we know as VE1. So in response to questions and the need for students to have a study score for ATAR purposes, and the desire and need for industry and RTOs, trainers and schools to have a say in what is included in some of the senior secondary vet programs and how they are delivered and assessed, we have developed the VCE vet approved programs, which are known as the VE1. And they are approximately 80% of our enrolments year on year. You might have seen that before. Looks familiar, but that's where they're featured. So with these VE1 programs, as I quickly turn my page, they are prescribed programs developed through consultation with the reference groups, including representatives from industry, schools, trainers, CMMs and state reviewers. They are approved by various VCAA committees and the board, and the units of competency are from national training packages or state accredited curriculum and are placed into an approved structure with designated credit. So the block credit doesn't apply because the credit is already designated because these programs have been curated. Some offers scored assessment, which of course, as we know on our lovely Get Vet poster, you can just check the ticks. And if you're not sure, ask us. They cannot be modified without going through the consultation processes and are available to VCE, VCE VM and VPC students. And as most people know, each program has its own program page and booklet on the website so that you can check all the information in those. Scored, non-scored and unscored VCE programs. So a scored program is a VCAA prescribed set of units of competency known as a 3-4 sequence, which is nominally 180 hours. There is a program which is 170 hours. It is the cookery program. and I do receive a number of phone calls about that. That was a decision by a reference group. People may have been in the conversation for that reference group. It was a rather robust conversation that day. And the decision was made to keep it as a 170 hours because there was the 12 services that the students did. So 170 nominal hours didn't represent the full commitment. So if we would have put another unit in, it would have been arduous. So it was a really good decision. So it just shows some of the good things we do. But most other programs are 180 or a little bit over. A score is derived from school-assessed coursework, which is SACs, and externally assessed examinations set by the VCAA, and usually at a 66%, 34%. So unless otherwise stated, it's 66% for the coursework and 34% for the exam. But for the performance of dance and music, it is 50-50. They are the only exception at the moment. And music performance, by the way, sorry. The VCE Vet Unit 3-4 sequences with a scored assessment are treated in the same way as other Unit 3-4 VCE studies. They can contribute towards an ATAR as either one of the student's primary 4 or a 5th or 6th study increment. I do receive a lot of phone calls about the bottom point though, so just to bring this one home, where a student chooses to undertake a scored program but not to sit the exam, and we know post-COVID though the numbers of students who've chosen to do that has grown exponentially, this is called an unscored program, and there is no contribution towards the ATAR, not even as an increment. And that's the bit that I have to answer on the phone regularly. So if the student chooses to be unscored in a scored program, so they do the before mentioned Certificate 2 Cookery 3-4, and they choose to not sit the external exam, they can't ask for an increment towards their ATAR. They have to attempt the exam to have the increment, okay? But if it's a non-scored program, such as apparel, fashion and textiles, that would attract an increment because there's no opportunity for an exam in that course. So just thought I'd pause on that one because it's a very common question that comes through. So a non-scored program. Non-scored Unit 3-4 sequences are available and are achieved by undertaking 180 hours of electives in addition to the 1-2 units of competency, taking the total certificate to 360 hours. They may contribute towards the ATAR as that study increment, but it depends on the rest of the student's studies. It's only if the student chooses to want that to happen, and then they get advised by their schools. An unscored student is a student undertaking scored programs but electing not to sit the exam, and no contribution to the ATAR or increment, as I clarified earlier. So scored assessment is an area that we have annual scored assessment workshops for all of our scored programs. So if any of your contacts in your networks are new to scored assessment, tell them to check their calendar diaries for March and make sure they lock in one of our webinars to attend for scored assessment so they get the information for their specific program, which is a really important thing to do. We have a scored assessment guide. Yes, there's a soft copy if you scan that, and I do have some hard copies in the pink suitcase. So come and see me if you'd like if you're a hard copy kind of a person. And it goes through all of the information that you need to know I'm going backwards and forwards, regarding the scored assessment. So every document I show you in this section is either hard copy in the book in my case, or if you scan the QR code or use the link, it's on the website in a soft copy book as well. So when we calculate a study score, there are 3 scored tasks that covers all 3-4 scored units of competency. There is an assessment plan and it is school assessed, and that is 66% towards the student's final grade. Then they sit the externally assessed exam. There are specifications for each exam. They're based on the compulsory units of competency. So if there are elective units of competency in the 3-4 sequence they're undertaking, such as lab skills, sports and recreation, to name a couple, they are not on the exam. The exams are in October or November and they are externally assessed and they contribute to 34% of the students' grades. So it's a different balance to VCE subjects. This is an example of the different task types that a student can, that a assessor can ask students to participate in to get their 66% of their coursework. There is no way known you're going to read that from there. So please grab a hard copy book from me or have a look at the link when on our website and attend our scored assessments workshops in March for more information. So I'll zip through these, but there they are there. Work performance, a product, an industry project or a portfolio, and the rules are all available in the booklet. So I'll skim past this. An assessment plan is absolutely essential. The lodgement dates for those are just closed recently. If any of your colleagues missed the closing date, please ask them to reach out to us ASAP. It is a plan for how the assessment is going to work for those students, which 3 tasks they are achieving, how they are going to be assessed towards their 66%. So it looks more difficult than it is. All that the assessor needs to do is nominate the 3 assessments in the columns and balance the hours. One task cannot be more than 55% of the 180 hours. Or 170 hours. Please make sure that that does stand. That is a common misconception that it can be. A simple reason why is one assessment should not weight a lot heavier than the others because it sets the student back at a disadvantage if they miss that one. So it's supposed to be a balance. Also, units of competency represent a number of hours and that should be balanced in the assessment. Again, that's part of the scored task in March. Anyone who's not aware of our videos for Get Vet, please scan the QR code or have a look on our website. They are fantastic short videos where students are explaining their experiences of vet. New ones were added early this year and I don't think they're on that slide. I'm going to have to go and talk to my people. It is a small business and applied languages were added to our suite of videos recently, but they're a really good bite-sized way of introducing students and parents to what the vet program will offer for them, and it's pitched at the student level. I'm sure many of you already know about those. Now, I have 2023 enrolment data because that's the only data I'm allowed to put on a slide, but I've got some notes about the interim data for 2024 if you're interested. Drum roll. Okay, so you might have seen this in our statewide, that's all that we could deliver for, I'm allowed to show on the slides. So it says that there the total vet enrolments were 73,536 students were enrolled in all 3 types of vet in 2023. The interim data in May indicates that we've tipped over 75,000 students and the SBATs were not included because their deadline isn't until October, November. So therefore that shows that your work out there's some good solid increases in the enrolments in vet, which is a good testament to your work and that of your colleagues across the state. Enrolment data isn't final, but it indicates that more than 56,000 Victorian school students are enrolled in vet this year. That was in the interim data in May. If that was true, it would be a record high. And as I said, the interim data does not include SBATs. So well done. It's looking really healthy and we're getting lots of enrolments. Remember the big dip during the COVID time? People said, oh, it might not come back, especially SBATs. That's not true. And that's sensational and a testament to everyone who does all their work there. Over 25,000 students are doing the vocational major with the vet as part of their program. But interestingly, over 21,000 students are having vet as part of their VCE program. So that idea that vet only is part of VM and has no place in VCE that you may have, that the doomsayers said a couple of years ago, it's not showing in the stats. And that's fantastic because vet can cover across both. And I think that's what makes vet so amazing and dynamic and everything else. That was the top 10 from last year. Do I have the top 10 interim on here? If anyone was interested, I thought I did it down, but I mustn't have. Oh yes, so the top 5 interim: sport and rec, building construction, screen and media, hospitality and business. There you go. The thing is, we think, no, with the interim data, we're double checking the screen and media one. It might have been a blip. But as you can see, the top 5 really hasn't changed much in the interim for this year compared to previous years. So it's pretty solid. By scored enrolments there, still the top 5 in scored for scored only. We've got sport and rec, hospitality, allied health, and then hospitality cookery. So both of them are split. Cert 3 in music, business, engineering studies, ICT, screen and media again is up there again, and community services. So that makes out the top 10 from 2023. I don't have interim data on that. They didn't drill down enough when they give me little snapshots to strategically leak. That was 2023, nothing. Automotive sneaks in when you take out the, you see that, when you're taking out the scored, automotive sneaks into the top 10 there, but the rest of them are pretty much the same. Or building and construction sneaks into the second place there too. And that was from 2023, so that's confirmed data. You'll receive this, you just not going to receive my stuff on my own notes. So I'll get in trouble. Okay, structured workplace learning. There's a link here because structured workplace learning is designed to help students apply the skills and knowledge that they learned from their vet program and industry environment. And there's a whole lot of information there. I don't think I've really got the time in my allocation to talk about that one. But the structured workplace learning recognition for the first time in 2024 has become a VCE study design. So there were some changes rolled out at the end of 2023. There's a fabulous video on our website for anyone who's still a little bit unsure, and it included the Q&A from a massive workshop that we had about it at the end of last year. So if any of your team are a little bit unsure, I recommend you do that, and that QR code should work. All the QR codes worked the last few days when I've been putting these together. If any of them have glitched since, please tell me. But that says information there. But the one thing that the vet units still control, if people got their phones up, not anymore, is the workplace learning records. They are all up on the website, including the SBAT one. So that was good to get them locked in. There's only one program that's not up at the moment. That's applied language. Because in all the time, there's never been a person use a workplace learning record for applied language. So if we had one to be a little bit delayed, it was that one, but all the others are up. So that's the link there with the workplace learning records link. And when you get to the page, you'll see them listed. They're alphabetical, pretty easy to find for your students to complete. So it's good to have those available for everyone. There's our structured workplace learning recognition enrolments year on year up until 2023. As you can see, it's going from strength to strength, which is probably a good reason for them to have made a study design just to really involve people in it. There's lots of resources for structured workplace learning recognition, all the forms and the information, but I think I'll go over time. And look at the cakes. I can't. So I'll finish off with talking about our professional learning. Our professional learning happens every year. Our statewide workshops are in November, December. You will receive, many of you, most of you, an email from Kim Hodson in the next few days, if you haven't already. Oh, good. There you go. She said she was going to send it before I arrived today. I wasn't quite sure. If you haven't and you'd like to, please let me know or shoot me an email. My details will be somewhere on the stuff that I broadcast. I'm Loretta. I left my badge at home, so all my carry necklace, so you'd know who I was. Please shoot me some questions if you need it. But those statewide workshops are happening November or December. What Kim sent out yesterday was an expression of please let us know if there's anything important on. We don't want to clash with things. So if you could advise anything that you say will clash with our people who normally go to the workshops, please let Kim know now so she can book the dates where everyone's free. And that's the whole aim of those. The scored assessment workshops, there's a general one, which is the overview of scored assessment, good for people who maybe not the actual assessor, but are part of your team and need to know about it, so that's administrators and people involved. And then there's the program-specific ones where the state reviewer for each program will attend with the program manager, and we have just people from that program. We go through the assessments and the scored, and that's very, very helpful, I hope. What there's coursework audits. Sorry, I only say the word audit twice. They're mandatory, and it's and then when we say and voluntary, if you receive an audit notification and you have some questions, my colleague Laura will help you with those. And we do like presentations on demand. Happy to come out and support you. One of my team will come out, or if it is somewhere a longer drive than here, we can dial in and join you on WebEx as well. So please don't hesitate to ask if you'd like us to come out. And we respond to ad hoc inquiries, like lots, and we love them. So keep bringing those in. One thing about the scored program specific ones, we haven't quite locked it in yet. Sorry, I should go. But the Seasons of Excellence, what we're hoping is that the scored workshop will be able to be hybrid so people can come to the museum and look at the top design of their courses as well while they come into the scored assessment workshop. So we're currently talking to the museum people, the top design people, the people and the more people and the more people to make that happen in March. So if that happens, commend my colleague Ben Fitzgerald, because he's putting that together as we speak. So I'm hoping that you'll get a notification for that soon. I skipped one slide there. We're advertising for state reviewers for lab skills, furnishing and engineering. So if you know anyone who'd like to join our team as a casual employee, looking after those actually, no, lab skills, I hired someone recently. Sorry, I should have updated that. I hope Richie's not watching. But she's amazing. I don't know how that stayed on my slide. Furnishing and engineering. So if you'd like to recommend that to a friend or apply yourselves, please let me know. And I think that's all, because the Seasons of Excellence information is going to be on the information you get. And it's a fantastic opportunity to celebrate student work. The Get Vet suite hasn't changed a lot lately, so most of you will know about it. Come and see me for my suitcase full of tricks if you like some hard copies. Otherwise, it's all on the website. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us, as well as the bulletin, we now have a senior secondary newsletter, and all you have to do is click to subscribe and you will receive those as well. So that's a pretty simple way. If you don't already receive notices to schools, you can ask us to opt in. I give you a small caution. If you're not in a school and you only want vet information, about 80%, 90% of what you receive you'll glaze over. But if you don't mind that just to get the gold out of it, please do. But anything that we put in there, the notice to schools, will also repeat in the senior secondary newsletter because it's such a small part of the notice to schools. Apart from that, thank you. I believe please don't hesitate to ask me questions, but if you want your morning tea first, I'm staying till the end. So you can do that too. And that's who we are.
Thank you so much, Loretta. I used to be really scared of the VCAA. I thought they were this big, nasty group.
Oh, that's Daryl's fault, not mine.
No, once I spoke to Daryl as well, he was like, get over yourself. They are so helpful and so happy to come out and do this sort of stuff, which we're very appreciative of, but also to come in to do sessions with schools, particularly as you start to grow and develop your clusters. Any questions? There is a whole heap of information there. It's a really, really complex space. We talk about scored and unscored and full and partial completions and all these sorts of things. Hopefully it's not all brand new information for you, but there is a lot in there. Any questions or further comments? Hang on.
Probably got a comment more than a question.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Loretta, because that is a huge amount of information.
I was worried it wouldn't be, sorry if it's too much. If you glazed over, you'll get the information.
This is the starting point though. This is our starting point. The one thing that I do want to point out, I work at a school as well. Just because it can be a scored program doesn't necessarily mean that the RTO provider is offering it as a scored program. So just don't fall into that trap. It's just a little asterisk underneath
That
there,
is
okay?
true. There are some TAFEs who will deliver some and say we're programs that are scored. We're not delivering the scored program, or we will negotiate with them, talk to them, or see if you've got an RTO provider who will do it. If the students want to do a scored program scored, they should have the right to do so, and we might be able to help you in that space. Equally, the reverse too. If they want to do it unscored, they should be able to do that too.
Any other questions for Loretta? As she said, she will stay at least for the next session.
I have to.
And cake, more importantly. But any other questions while we've got her here?
Yes.
One from Sheree.
Hi, Loretta. Thank you. I just wanted to check with VPC students, what certificate level is appropriate for a VPC student?
Oh, I have a colleague, Laura, not the same Laura I referred to, who's looking after VPC. So I'll definitely, if you've got some questions, I'll go directly to her. But VPC students are usually at a Certificate 1 level. They can attempt a Certificate 2 VET program. VET programs are Certificate 2 and above. It would really depend on the student, and it's a case-by-case basis. So they can attempt Certificate 2 if they want, but VPC is usually a Cert 1.
And remembering that prior to enrolment, every single vet student should be doing an LLNN, which will demonstrate whether or not they've got the capacity to continue with a Cert 2 or above. No other questions? Thank you so much, Loretta. Please, big round of applause. Not just for the vast amount of information, but you've also got us back on track time-wise. So thank you very much.